します。
皆さん、こんにちは。サイバーコネクト2の開設明会を開始いたします。今回はご視聴いただいてありがとうございます。
Hello everyone, this is CyberConnect2's company presentation. Thank you for tuning in.
はい、お願いします。次のページ。はい、失礼いたしました。私、サイバーコネクト2人事室の中松と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。
Okay, sorry for the wait. Let's get started. I am Yoshio Nakamatsu, and I work with personal affairs at CyberConnect2.
そして、本日の通訳者トラビスです。
Okay, speaking to you now is your interpreter, Travis Pro. Hello everyone.
まず最初に皆さんにお伝えしたいことは、弊社サイバーコネクト2は世界中の外国籍の方を採用しています。今年は、国内含め合計20名の採用を計画しています。特に日本の福岡、東京のスタジオで働きたい方を求めています。はい。
Okay, the first thing we want to present to you guys is that we at CyberConnect2 are now hiring new staff, a total of 20 new staff. We are mainly focusing on our Tokyo and Fukuoka main office.
はい、次のページ。はい、次のページお願いします。
Next page.
はい。サイバーコネクト2は、今から26年前に日本で設立されたゲーム開発会社です。会社設立の時は、10名でスタートいたしましたが、今は300名ほどのスタッフがいて、様々なゲームの開発を行っています。はい。
Okay, CyberConnect2, this is some basic details about that. We started about 26 years ago with only about a dozen staff at the time, and we have grown to roughly close to 300 different staff at the company.
はい。これまで作ってきたタイトルのご紹介です。古くはプレイステーション1の時代から、このようなオリジナルタイトルを作っています。はい。
Okay, these are some of our titles that we've made. Our development dates all the way back to the PlayStation 1 era.
はい。こちらは代表作の一つであるドットハックシリーズです。はい。
Okay, this is one of our leading titles our series that we have worked with, the Dot Hack series.
もう一つの代表作であるナルティメットシリーズです。
Another series representative of our company is the NARUTO Ultimate Ninja series.
はい。こちらはジョジョの奇妙な冒険のゲームタイトルです。
Okay, next up we have Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, as you know, might be Eyes of Heaven, and the most recent All-Star Battle R. ミュートになっています。
次のページお願いします。
Okay.
あれはい。ドラゴンボール Z カカロットと、鬼滅の刃ですね。
Okay, apologies for that, guys. We had a little technical difficulty on our end. Some other titles we have released recently, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles.
はい。こういったお預かりする IP のゲームを制作しています。で最新作は戦場の風雅です。
Okay.
で戦場の風雅については、もうじき発売から1周年経過するのですが、近々最新作を発表する予定です。はい。
Okay, next up is some of our self-published titles, starting with our very first title that we released last year, Fuga, Melodies of Steel. It is the first title in the series of Fuga, and about a year has passed already, and we are about to be announcing a brand new title as we speak.
サイバーコネクト2では、ゲームソフトを中心に制作をしていますが、ゲームだけではなくて、漫画を作ったり、アニメを作ったり、自分たちがやりたいと思ったことをやる会社です。はい。
Okay, CyberConnect2, we focus mainly on game development, but we also focus on other types of media, including manga and anime production.
ここからは、サイバーコネクト2の福岡本社について、会社としてどういった環境かっていうのをご紹介していくのと、 その後ですね、皆さんが実際に日本で働くときに、サイバーコネクト2という会社が皆さんが働く上でどういったお手伝いができるかといったことを説明したいと思います。ここからはトラビスに英語で説明をしてもらいます。では、トラビスさん、進行お願いします。
Right. Okay, guys, from here on out, I will be taking the reins for some of the explanation. We're going to be talking about CyberConnect News development sites itself, starting with Fukuoka. So if you guys ever get interested in coming over to our company, you could kind of get an idea of what the environment is like. Let's get started. Okay. All right, so here's some of our internal facilities. We've got, you see this right when you enter the front door of the company, the lobby reception area. Our meeting rooms. Unfortunately, our meeting rooms, we avoid using this frequently due to the coronavirus, as you all may have known. We also have our common room, which, as you can see, it has a ton of different sources of media, including manga. We also have games, and we have DVDs that staff are free to use. We got a slight inside look in our development studio itself. As you can see, everyone is practicing proper countermeasures to the coronavirus. Everyone's wearing a mask while they work. We also have an in-house sound room, which is run by our sound team. Okay, we mentioned this earlier, but we have several different studios at CyberConnect2, including Fukuoka, Tokyo, and Montreal. And we follow a policy known as interconnection, meaning that we do not work on separate projects based on the studio we're at. We actually work interconnected with one another. And this has the advantage of being able to work on the same project around the clock, because as you know, Montreal is in Canada. And so they operate on almost the exact opposite time zone as we do. So while we're asleep, they're up working on the same projects that we left them with. So when they're off, we work through that. And Tokyo is in the same time zone as us. And so we split work together and we work harmoniously that way. Okay, this was also in the common room earlier. We subscribe to a lot of different media sources, mostly to serve as inspiration for our artists and our cinematography people. Our library is very extensive. We have a lot of different sources of media like DVDs, manga, anime, and also games, of course. You saw these pictures a little earlier. These are our conference rooms and our reception rooms. We do use the smaller rooms generally, but we do have to be careful with COVID-19. And we have to take countermeasures for that. This is a normal day at work, so I'll get into like the smaller details of if you were to work at CyberConnect2. So our shifts start from 9 o'clock and they end at 6 p.m. In between those times, we have our regular lunchtime around 1 o'clock, and then a short break time, slightly closer to the end of the day. Okay, more company atmosphere stuff. Communication and education is kind of a big thing at CyberConnect2 when you first start out. We promote these quite adamantly. And what we do is, since we have a multitude of different nationalities at CyberConnect2, communication is key, especially when you have an interpreter like myself in the company. We focus heavily on that. Now we have seminars, we have meetings, and we generally try to get the staff to interact with one another, brainstorm together, work together, and overall grow together. We have company events as well. Now, due to the coronavirus situation, things have been dying down a little bit in Japan, so it has been a little better on us. But for the bulk of the last 2 years, it's been quite difficult to go out. Maybe some of you have experienced this in your area. It's just difficult to meet up in large groups of people. But we actually have in-house, what we call them circles. They're basically clubs. We have like sports watching clubs. We have indoor soccer or futsal. Snowboarding clubs, we have paintball, we have other recreational types of clubs. We also have online gaming clubs, like a Final Fantasy club. And so there's a number of different activities. So if you're interested, you can join those. We also have other things like picnics, we have outings. We have some New Year's events that we hold. And we also take our families out and meet and greet and go fishing events and a number of different outings. This is actually quite prevalent during the coronavirus period, is like mostly in-house stuff, very small scale, like interacting with each other, playing like indoor games like card games, board games, and the like. and also holding meetings over on whether it's Zoom or whether it's other forms of online media. Life in Fukuoka. So Fukuoka, I tell people when they come to Japan to at least try the food in Fukuoka, because it's kind of easy to put it like this. If you go to a big place like Tokyo, you would get a lot of there's a whole lot of varieties of food for sure, but there's hit and miss, I think. You can really make a mistake with the stop you go to. Plus the price, it's quite expensive there. So you could pay a lot for something you might not like. But with Fukuoka, you pay a lot less for something that you will almost guaranteed to like. The hit rate is what we want to call it. It's near 100%, I'd say. You've got amazing food like sushis. We've mentaiko is like fish eggs. It's a type of delicacy here. Of course, no matter where you go, sushi is good. We've got motsunabe, which is like trite. It's a broiled soup. It's very delicious. Fukuoka. Some basic facts about Fukuoka. It is a metropolis, but it's wide enough to feel not so claustrophobic. It's a perfect medium, I think, between the two. The foreign population is also quite bustling. Due to Corona, it hasn't really gone much anywhere, but now that we are accepting overseas visitors again, the population is starting to grow. Some more appealing points to Fukuoka is the transportation. It's quite simple. If you've ever been to Tokyo or maybe Osaka, Kyoto area, you probably noticed that the subway systems are very intricate and very complicated. It's very easy to get lost. Fukuoka is quite basic. You can get to almost every major point in the city through one of 3 or 4 different subway lines. And you can actually take the airport is situated in the middle of the city. So you can fly into the Fukuoka airport, take the subway straight from there to our office. It's very easy to access. Again, cost of living, much cheaper than a larger place like Tokyo or like Osaka. Here's some basic info about our salary. Tax is generally up to 15% of what would be taken off. And then you have other things like utilities, electricity and stuff. Holidays in Japan, we have a total of 123 days off. This is including the weekends. We also have national holidays and then company assigned days off that you can take off at your leisure. Okay, non-Japanese staff. We make up about, I would say about 15% of the population. We have a number of different places. I believe that is about 13 different nationalities now. So from all walks of life, all kinds of creeds and belief systems, and we're all in one place. So we have a lot of different value systems in one roof, and it kind of helps shape the company culture, we think. Okay, now I will go over the application process, which I'm sure you're all wondering about. Okay, so application, the best case scenario, we'll say, will take about 1 month. This includes you apply online, we get your application, and we'd start undergoing interviews, whether it's on Skype or Zoom or some other form of online medium. And after that, if we accept your portfolio and your information, you would get a job offer from us. And then we can start undergoing your visa application. We could get your paperwork sorted out for housing. And then it would take another 1.5 months. And then you would move to Japan. So best case scenario, we're looking at 2.5 months, roughly maybe 50 days. Okay, all these are conducted online. And so there's no reason for you guys to come to Japan just to do an interview or anything like that. Okay, and then the period when you land in Japan. Okay, so you've got your visa, you got your housing set up, but you need to get situated in Japan. So you land, you would sign your lease. While you're signing your lease, we would actually assist you in getting you into a short-term hotel situation so that you can have a place to stay until you can move in. You would get your paperwork sorted out during that period of time. Then you would move in, and then you'd come into the company. So all in all, with all of that considered, it's about 3 months on the best case scenario. Okay, and then from there, we would undergo training. If you're fresh out of university or it's your first job ever, you would be entering into this program. You would have about 3 months of training, basic training tasks where you would have a mentor and they would assign you tasks to do, and they would check your work and give you feedback. After that, you would be assigned on-the-job training, where you would still work with your mentor and get feedback for specific tasks, but you would be assigned on-the-job training. After that, you would be assigned on-the-job training, where you would still work with your mentor and get feedback for specific tasks, but you would be assigned on-the-job training. project tasks. And after that, you would have your final assessment, upon which training would end, and you would go straight to a project. Okay, this is with regards to COVID-19. As you know, it is still a big thing around the world, and there are still some restrictions on access to Japan. Since you guys were talking to you over in France, you would have to look at the French embassy and their rules on entering the country. We have had some French hires recently, so we know that it is possible for you guys to come here. But as for what current restrictions there are, you will have to look that up on your own. Of course, we will provide you with support from our end as well. Okay, so some basic FAQs. So we will have a Q&A section later, but these are common questions, so we will get done with these first. First one, we get this all the time. How much Japanese do you need to know to work at CC2? The answer is 0 or none. You do not need Japanese to join the company. Join the company is the keyword here. After that, we do hope that you start studying Japanese and pick it up so that you can communicate and become more and more independent. Until that point, myself and the rest of the interpreters, the translation staff, we will aid you in your communication with the other Japanese staff. And there are also Japanese lessons that you can undergo. I believe it is about a year-long program, 9 months to a year. Here it is. So Japanese lessons. Yes, we hire a teacher to come in and they will assist you for, I believe, several hours a week over the course of 9 months to a year. After that, you have a test where you give I believe it was a 10-minute speech all in Japanese. So the end sounds quite intensive, but given the fact that you're in Japan, you're studying Japanese, you have all the resources available to you to be able to accomplish that. Okay, visa and relocation. Now, as I mentioned before, CyberConnect2 will aid you in getting your visa sorted out. We help you with housing. We connect you with a realtor in Japan who will then provide you with some options for locations to live. We also consult with you on everything related to your daily life, if you're getting accustomed to life in Japan and the sort. Benefits provided by Japan, more specifically Japanese companies. So we'll go into that. Standard benefits that companies allot their employees are commuting allowance. So if you live, I believe it's 2 kilometers or more from the company, you will get a commuting allowance. Most of the time for new hires, you guys will be placed in apartments kind of close to the company. But if you do move, you can apply for this and you will receive it. Annual paid leave. This is time that you can take off at your leisure. There is a application process for it, but you can use it freely. And then social insurance. We'll get into that for a bit. Social insurance, one of the major things it covers is basic health insurance. If you become sick or injured, nursing care, in case you have a situation where nursing care is required, and then employee welfare pension. So you will be enrolled into the Japanese pension system where you will eventually get a payout after you retire. And for social insurance, the company will front half, 50% of the costs. Okay, you can find more info about this over on our Japan Life Hacks page, which my team worked very hard to put together. Thank you, Irene. So yeah, please check that out. We have a lot of information over here. Most of it pertains to the finer details. We have more on housing, more on how to get your personal seal. They call that an inkan. They use that in place of a signature. And so we talk about how to get that registered, how to get that sorted out, and other very important information to know as a foreign resident in Japan. Okay, we'll go quickly into Montreal, but disclaimer, due to the effects of COVID-19, they are technically hiring, but they are not hiring from overseas. So to those in France viewing now, we are sorry, you cannot apply to CyberConnect2 Montreal. If you move to Canada and you apply from within Canada, I believe that is possible. We do know that they are doing domestic recruitment. Okay, open positions. These are your basic run-of-the-mill positions at any game company: game programmers, level designers, game designers, modelers, artists, animators, UI FX, and technical artists. Most of you are in university, I believe, so this will apply to you, but it also applies to mid-career hires. So if you know someone who's trying to transfer, get into the gaming industry, this is also available for them as well, should they qualify. Okay, more details. As I mentioned, not just the life hacks, but you can find more information on foreign employment related to positions over on our CC2 website. Just type CC2 employment, and you can access that information pretty quickly. Okay, yes, so this concludes the tour of the company. I think we are ready to go straight into our Q&A section, I believe. Hold on one moment. Let me see if I can get a hold of Mr. Nakamatsu. Nakamatsu-san, いらっしゃいます。ミュートです。
はい、失礼いたしました。少々お待ちくださいませ。
Okay, one moment. We're going to move straight into our Q&A section.
はい。では、ここからですね、質疑応答の時間に移りたいと思います。次のページお願いします。
Okay, we're moving straight into our Q&A.
この質疑応答からですね、サイバーコネクト2の取締役である、西川が加わりまして、西川と私の方で皆様からいただいているご質問にお答えしたいと思います。
Okay, front running and answering these questions for you is our director, game sections and manager, Yuki Nishikawa. And those questions will be provided by Mr. Nakamatsu.
はい。では、トラビスさん、画面共有を解除していただけますでしょうか。
Okay, let me close the screen share.
西川さん、画面のミュートの解除。はい、ありがとうございます。では、西川さん、自己紹介をお願いいたします。
はい、皆さん、こんにちは。取締役の西川祐希と申します。サイバーコネクト2福岡本社の責任者をしております。
Okay, hello everyone. This is Executive Board Member Yuki Nishikawa. I am working as the main manager of the Fukuoka main office.
はい、私はですね、これまで、開発に携わってきた主なゲームタイトルがありまして、それはナルト、ナルティメットシリーズで、その開発チームの中で、主にディレクターや制作プロデューサーを担当しておりました。
Okay, one of the projects I had the pleasure of working with for a very long time was the NARUTO Ultimate Ninja Storm series for many years as the executive producer as well as the director and game designer.
はい、で、現在はですね、各プロジェクトの、ディレクターや、制作プロデューサーのサポートをしながら、ゲームデザイナーセクションのマネージャー業務を行っております。
Okay. Now in my current position, I support all of the directors and upper level management staff at the Fukuoka main office to help aid them in their projects.
はい、自己紹介は以上です。よろしくお願いいたします。
Okay, this concludes my self-introduction. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
はい、西川さんありがとうございました。では早速ですが、いただいているご質問ですね、一つ目から回答していきたいと思います。
Okay, thank you to you, Mr. Nishikawa for the introduction. Okay, let's get started. We're going to be getting straight into the questions provided by you guys.
はい、まず一つ目です。質問なのですが、冒頭でですね、紹介した募集している20名が採用されても、応募はできるのでしょうか。それとも新しいポジションの募集を待たなければならないでしょうか。
Okay, very top question. Hello, thank you for all your hard work. My question is, could I still apply even if the 20 people that you're looking for are hired, or do I have to wait for a new position openings?
はい、じゃあこれ、回答を僕の方からしてもいいですかね。
はい、お願いします。
はい、こちらの質問への回答ですが、定員に、達してもですね、応募は受け付けております。 皆さんのですね、能力、クオリティが高い方がいらっしゃったらですね、一年中、採用の方はしていきたいなと思っておりますので、自信がある方はどんどん応募していただければ嬉しいなと思っております。
Okay, the answer to your question is that even if we meet the 20-person mark that we are aiming for, you can still apply and still enter the company. What we look for is your skill sets in your application, and we use that as our basis for accepting people. So we wouldn't limit you if you are a valued person in our eyes.
はい、では2つ目の質問です。おそらく質問者の方ですが、新卒の学生で職業経験、就職経験ですね、ない人は、採用しないのですか？で、その経験というのは学校のプロジェクトを除くというご質問でした。
Okay, next question. Do you recruit students who have just graduated and have no professional experience, except for school projects?
はい、こちらへの回答ですが、まずですね、採用前に特にテストのようなものはありません。基本的に、ポートフォリオと面接で、合否の結果を、お伝えさせていただいております。
Okay, to start, we do not hold any specific tests for you. And what we look for is the content of your portfolios and what skill sets you bring to the table within your portfolio. We use that.
で、特にですね、職業経験のあるなしは関係ありません。皆さんのですね、ポートフォリオ、学生の時に作っていただいた、作品、こちらのですね、クオリティで、合否の判断をいたしますので、ちょっとそういったところでですね、皆さんから自信がある作品の、応募をお待ちしております。
Okay, work history, while it's nice, it is not a major factor for us. Rather, the quality of the portfolio that you put together is what we value the most. And so we really hope that you put in projects that you feel confident in presenting when you apply.
はい。では次の質問ですね。
はい。
はい。次の質問です。採用後に使用期間はあるのでしょうか？また、採用前に何かテストがあるのでしょうか？それとも面接とポートフォリオだけで内定が出るのでしょうか？という質問です。
Okay, next question. Is there a trial period after we are recruited, like in France? Or is there some test before recruiting? Or is it the interview and portfolio enough to receive a job offer?
はい、こちらもですね、先ほど少し、回答一部重複いたしますが、採用前に特にテストのようなものはありません。面接とポートフォリオで、審査の方をさせていただきます。ただし、新卒の方の採用の場合はですね、入社後に、研修というものを、実施させていただいております。その実施は、セクションによって内容が異なりますが、だいたい3ヶ月程度の、お仕事の訓練のようなものです。
Okay, we have some overlapping in the questions, but just to clarify again, there is no specific test that you have to take. It's just the interview and the portfolio review process. For new staff, we mentioned in the seminar a little earlier, we have the training period, which can differ depending on your skill set and the section you're in, but it generally lasts about 3 months. And after that, we will evaluate you and you be bumped up to full time.
3ヶ月というものはあくまで目安でして、皆様の、頑張りというかですね、クオリティによってはその期間を短縮することも可能ですし、逆に3ヶ月以上かかってしまうような方も、たまにいらっしゃいますので、そういったところもですね、ちょっとあくまで目安として覚えておいていただけると嬉しいなと思います。
Okay, the 3 months that we mentioned, it is just a standard. Your skill and how well you produce the tasks that are given to you can determine how fast or how slow your training period could be. Sometimes you can finish earlier, but we do have cases where it could take longer than the 3 months. And so we would just recommend using the 3 months as a standard, though.
はい。では次の質問です。家賃は会社負担ではないのでしょうか？という質問です。
Our next question. I'm assuming the rent isn't paid for by the company, right?
はい。弊社のですね、ルールですと、家賃の、会社からの補助というものは、行っておりません。ただしですね、交通費、電車とか、バスとか、そういった公共の交通機関で、会社に通っていただく方の交通費の補助は行っております。
Okay. As a general rule, CyberConnect2 does not pay for its employees' rent, so no. We do, however, provide aid to those who live far away and commute through public transportation, whether it be trains or the bus. So we do provide support for that.
はい。では次の質問です。これはおそらくアーティストからの質問だと思いますが、エンバイロメントアーティスト、背景アーティストに求めるものは何でしょうか。また、ニーズに合ったポートフォリオを作成するコツはありますでしょうかという質問です。
Okay, our next question. It looks like the framing of this question sounds like you are maybe an artist. What are you looking for in an environmental artist? Do you have any tips for building a portfolio that fits with your needs?
はい。西川さん、こちらについては、私の方から回答してもよろしいですか？
はい。中松さんからお願いします。何かあれば、その後僕から補足させていただきます。
よろしくお願いします。はい。まず、背景アーティストに、求める、ポートフォリオなんですが、弊社が、3DCG のゲームを開発している会社ですので、基本的にはやはり 3DCG の、背景といったものを求めます。
Okay, Mr. Nakamatsu covered the question or the answer for that. CyberConnect2, what we mainly develop are 3D computer-generated games. And so having a portfolio that shows your work being of 3D computer-generated assets or content is what we would look for.
はい。で、できればですね、建物だったり人工物だけではなく、自然物ですね、自然的な背景も作品に含められていると、より評価が高まります。
Okay, this doesn't just include buildings or like character models or assets like that, but also environmental, like vistas and views, and general environmental assets as well.
はい。石川さん、すみません。何か補足ありますでしょうか？
はい、そうですね。今の回答に加えて、アドバイスというかですね、ちょっと、お伝えしておきたいことがあるとすれば、弊社はですね、開発させていただいているタイトルというものが、日本の漫画やアニメを題材にしたゲームが多いです。そういったゲーム開発に力を入れている、会社でもありますので、特にそういった漫画やアニメルックの、背景、モデル、そういったもののクオリティが、我々にアピールできるポートフォリオ、そういったものですと非常に我々との相性がいいのかなと思っておりますので、ちょっとニーズっていう点において、もし何かアドバイスができるとすれば、我々はそういう会社なので、そういったテイストの作品が送られてきたらとても嬉しいなと思っております。
Okay. In addition to what Mr. Nakamatsu had said, one of the things that we might add to that, the titles that CyberConnect2 make, we generally center around, as you may know, established games that are focused around established anime and manga. And so what's really important is getting an understanding of the quality and of the development that we do there, and producing assets and creating a portfolio that maybe highlights being able to create assets and work that looks similar to how we do it at CyberConnect2. So if we could see that, it would be very appealing and something that we could highly value in your application.
はい。すみません。もう一つ私から、コマーシャルも兼ねて付け加えがあるんですが、後ほどご紹介するんですが、CyberConnect2 の YouTube チャンネルがあります。で、そこではですね、実は CyberConnect2 が求める、作品、こういったレベルのものですとか、といった、応募作品へのアドバイスの解説の動画があります。で、一部ですね、英語字幕対応しているものもございますので、 よろしければ、後ほどご紹介する YouTube チャンネルを登録していただければと思います。
Okay, another thing, just one more thing to add to that, and this is kind of a selfish advertisement of our YouTube channel. But if you do access our YouTube channel, which we are streaming to at this moment, we have videos that showcase some portfolios and projects that applicants have made in the past that either passed or failed. And so you can get an idea of what type of person, what type of staff we are looking for. So that could be a referential for you too.
はい。では次の質問です。VFX にはどのようなプログラムを使用されていますか？自社のエンジンを使っているのですか？
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Which programs are you using for FX? Are you working with in-house engines?
はい。弊社でのそのゲームエンジンについては、基本的には、アンリアルエンジンを採用しています。で、もちろんですね、実際にそのプロジェクトに応じて、必要なカスタマイズ等を行っております。で、VFX においても、その、アンリアルエンジンですね、機能を利用して、他のツールと組み合わせながら、制作を行っているような形です。はい。西川さん、補足ございますか？
こちらに関しては補足ありません。大丈夫です。
はい、ありがとうございます。はい。
Okay. Our games, we mainly focus around the Unreal Engine, as you may be familiar with. We do, of course, every company has some internal customization that we provide based on our projects. And we do use some in-house tools that help aid us in our development.
はい。では、次の質問に移りたいと思います。少々お待ちください。すみません。はい、次の質問です。ポートフォリオにはどのような作品を期待されていますかという質問です。
Okay, let's move on. What kind of artworks are you looking forward to in a portfolio?
はい、そうですね。これも、今日何回かお伝えしたことに、ちょっとつながってくる部分もありますけれども、弊社はですね、3D、のゲームを作っている会社ですので、アーティストの方は特に 3D、モデルだったりとか、3D で作られたキャラクターのアニメーション、デモシーン、そういったところの、作品を、ポートフォリオにしていただければ、嬉しいなと思っております。まず、はい、ここまでお願いします。
よろしいですか？はい。
はい。
Okay, we'll cut him off there and I'll interpret for you. We mentioned this a couple of times already, so it'd be connected with the previous answers. But we generally work with only 3D computer-generated games, and so if you could have a portfolio that featured your work, maybe making 3D models or assets, 3D computer-generated versions of those, then that would be highly evaluated by us.
そうですね。ゲームデザイナーとかプログラマーに関しては、ゲームのジャンルというかですね、我々アクションゲームを開発することがとても、好きな会社ですので、アクションゲームの企画書だったりとか、アクションゲームの、ゲーム作品だったりとか、そういったところを、ポートフォリオとして、応募作品に含めていただけると、皆様の、実力が評価しやすいなと思っております。
Okay. If we could add another point to that, the game genre that we normally focus on is more action-based games. And so having a portfolio that does highlight some more like action-type posing or of your models and anything of the like would also be very highly rated, we think.
はい。では次の質問です。どのような契約形態ですか？無期限契約なのか、1年や2年のような期間契約なのでしょうかという質問です。
Okay, next question. Which type of contracts do you provide? Are they indefinite contracts or period contracts, like a year or two, for example?
これについては人事である私から回答いたします。弊社の、雇用形態については、基本的には正社員契約といって、契約期間のない雇用契約です。
Okay, Mr. Nakamatsu, as he is in human resources, he will answer this question. We do not have a specific set period for your contracts. They are unlimited, indefinite, as you mentioned.
はい。では次の質問です。シナリオライターという職種はあるのでしょうか？それともゲームデザイナーの一部なのでしょうか？
Okay, moving on. Is there a specific position for scenario writers, or is it part of the game designer position?
はい、ですね、シナリオライターという職種は弊社にはありません。ゲームデザイナーの一部というイメージが一番近いと思います。ゲームデザイナーの中で、テキストやシナリオを書くことが、向いていると感じたスタッフは、よりシナリオ、やテキストよりの作業を多く、タスクとして、やっていただくといったような、体制になっております。
Okay, CyberConnect2, we do not have scenario writer as an existing position here. So game designer would probably be the closest fit for that. The game designers generally write the text, the overall flow of the scenarios in the games that we make, and so they would probably be the closest thing you're looking for.
我々ゲーム会社はですね、やはりゲームを作るために、ゲームとして、シナリオを作る、ことを行っておりますので、ただ面白いお話を書ければいいというわけではなくて、どのように面白いゲームを作るために、どういうシナリオであるべきか、そういった考え方はやはり根っこの部分はゲームデザイナーのマインドが必要になってきますので、やっぱり順番としてはゲームデザイナーの能力があって、さらにその中でもシナリオ系の能力が高い、そういった方が将来的にどのプロジェクトでもシナリオをメインに任せてもらえるといった順番でのステップアップになると思っていただければと思います。
Okay. The way we look at it is that game designers will generally over time they gain the skills necessary to be able to write scenarios. So instead of simply writing just the best looking story that you can, we try to think of what the best type of game flow, what could accommodate such a scenario. And so the game designers usually are the thing that we focus on first. And through the natural growth in that, you would get accustomed to writing scenarios. And so we hope you can consider applying more for the game designer and then eventually growing into the scenario writing from that.
はい。では次の質問です。少々お待ちください。すいません。採用のために用意すべきものは何でしょうかという質問です。おそらく採用応募のためにどういった準備が必要かという質問だと思います。
Okay, so next question is short. What should we provide for recruitment? And we're guessing this is probably what sort of documentation, what sort of requirements are, what sort of prerequisites are there?
はい、私から回答いたします。ですね、今から、チャット欄に投稿いたします、弊社のですね、英語のですね、採用情報ページがございますので、そちらにアクセスしていただいて、いただけましたら必要な情報が手に入れることができると思います。ご覧ください。
Okay, Mr. Nakamatsu covered this question. We have an English recruitment page over on our CyberConnect2 website. So if you could check that, you can see exactly what you need to have ready for recruitment. So please go ahead and take a look at that when you have time.
はい。では、次の質問です。私はすでに、クワンティックドリームと、有期契約を結んでおり、約1年後に終了する予定です。その後、また連絡することは可能でしょうか？
Okay, next question. Interesting. Hello, I already have a fixed term contract with Quantic Dream, which will end in about a year. Would it be possible to contact you again afterwards?
はい、もちろん、大丈夫です。可能です。ぜひご連絡お待ちしております。
Yes. Of course, you're more than welcome to contact us again anytime during your contract term.
はい。ありがとうございます。ですね、おそらく次が、最後のですね、ご質問になるのかなと思います。ですね、読み上げますね。キャラクターアーティスト、おそらくキャラクターモデラーの仕事は、モデリングからセットアップ、エンジンでのシェーリングなのでしょうか？それともアセットレアライゼーションが中心でしょうかというご質問です。
Okay, next question. And I think time-wise, this will probably be our last one, but let me read it out. Where does the character artist job end? Is it in the modeling to set up and in engine shading, etc., or mainly in asset realization?
はい。 私から簡単に回答いたしますので、もし補足あればお願いいたします。はい。弊社のキャラクターモデラーというのは、モデリングから、テクスチャーワーク、セットアップ、まで行う、あとリギングですかね。まで一通りですね、次の、キャラクターアニメーター等の、に渡せるまでの一通りのキャラクターモデリング、キャラクターの制作の工程を、担います。
Okay, Mr. Nakamatsu also covered this one as well. CC2 modelers, we work on the modeling, the textures and setup overall, and we can kind of get them polished up to a form where they could be passed along to the next sections. So yes, you do cover kind of a wide range of tasks within your work.
はい。以上ですね。はい。はい。ではですね、ご質問が、いただいているご質問が以上のようですので、はい。それではですね、最後告知に移りたいと思いますので、はい。では質疑応答はこれまでとさせていただきます。西川さんありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
はい。ではですね、少々お待ちください。それでは、トラビスさん、もう一度、パワーポイントの画面共有をお願いいたします。最後に告知をさせてください。
Hi. Okay, guys, we're going to get set up on the last part of our slideshow. Thank you, Mr. Nishikawa, for joining us. We'll see you again soon, I hope. Okay, let me share screen for you guys one moment. Let me get this ready. And here we go. もう見えてますでしょうか？
まだ映ってないですね。
映ってないです。
うん、
よろしいですか？
はい、大丈夫です。ありがとうございます。はい。
Here we go.
はい。まず、このページ、弊社サイバーコネクト2代表の松山の、各 SNS のアカウントです。それぞれの SNS にあった情報を発信しています。日本語での発信が中心ですけれども、よろしければぜひご登録お願いします。
Okay, this page, we have a lot of different social media accounts of our president, Mr. Hiroshi Matsuyama. So most of them are posted only in Japanese, but if you are interested in some of the stuff that he says, feel free to give him a follow, give him a like on some of his posts.
はい。ここで紹介している SNS アカウントについては、英語での発信をしています。また、下の方のモントリオールスタジオのアカウントについてはフランス語での情報発信もしています。
Okay, these accounts are actually run by CyberConnect2, but are in English. We translate them and relay all this information in English to you guys. The top 3 are from our Japan side, and the bottom 2 are actually led by the Montreal studio.
はい。先ほどちょっと触れたですね、サイバーコネクト2の YouTube チャンネルのご紹介です。だいたいチャンネルの半分ぐらいは英語字幕対応しております。で、先ほど言った通りですね、弊社にエントリーする際にどのような作品が求められるのかなどの解説動画もありますので、ぜひ登録してご覧ください。
Okay, we touched on this a bit earlier during the Q&A, but this is our YouTube channel. We have a large number of videos that have a large number of them have English subs to them. So you can actually check them out and read them and understand them. We have info on, as we mentioned, on portfolios and other information that can help you in the recruitment process. So please feel free to check them out and subscribe if you are interested.
はい。ここでご紹介するのは、書籍です。弊社代表の松山の目から見た、日本のゲーム業界について語っている本です。日本のゲーム会社のことをもっと知りたいと思われた方ですね。よろしければぜひ読んでみてください。
Okay, this is actually a book that President Matsuyama put together himself called Digital Daydreams. It touches on kind of the video game creation process. And so if you are interested in game development and the history and some of the kind of secrets behind it, feel free to grab that and give it a read. はい。
ここがですね、このページ、弊社の EC サイトです。サイバーコネクト2の公式サイトからもですね、リンクがあると思います。外国から、購入することもできますので、ぜひチェックしてください。
Okay, this is actually our e-commerce site that CC2 runs. For those outside of Japan, you can find links and you can actually access this in English as well and purchase from our store.
これはですね、アンケートフォームの、リンクの URL です。よろしければ、ぜひですね、このアンケートフォームに今日の、ご感想をお寄せいただければと思います。
Okay, we actually have a questionnaire put together for this seminar. So if you have questions or if you have the time, please fill it out and let us know what you thought about the seminar.
はい。ここからはですね、明日からジャパンエキスポにて、サイバーコネクト2の、トークショーなどを実施します。その、告知をさせてください。
Okay, please allow us to advertise this a bit. Tomorrow, as you may know, is the Japan Expo, and we have from tomorrow, CyberConnect2 will actually be attending. So let's get into that.
一つ目が、弊社のタイトルの戦場の風雅に関するトークショーです。記載の通りですね、4日程で、毎回少しずつ違う、内容を予定しています。
Okay, our main event for CyberConnect2 is a talk show about Fuga, Melodies of Steel. The content will slightly vary at each session, but each day we'll be giving a talk show at different times of the day.
はい。もう一つ、採用に関するトークショーも実施します。で、今回お話した内容とはまた違った内容も含まれてますので、ぜひ、こちらのトークショーにもご参加いただければと思います。
Okay, this is also another event that we are holding, another talk show. It touches on a different theme, and it is also held each day at different times.
ちなみにですね、今ご紹介した2つのトークショー、どちらも弊社の代表の松山が、お話しします。
Okay, both this theme, this talk show, and the previous one about Fuga will be presented by our president, Mr. Matsuyama.
はい。松山のサイン会も予定しています。
Okay, our president Matsuyama is also going to be holding a signing session. So if you want to get a signature from him, feel free to head over there.
はい。はい。サイバーコネクト2の、ブース出展も予定しています。グッズの販売であったり、戦場の風雅の私有台も設置していますので、ぜひ、ブースの方にお越しください。
Okay, CyberConnect2 will also be having a booth dedicated to Fuga Melodies of Steel, and so we'll have goods there for the game, and also a kind of a demo station set up so you can give the game a try.
はい。この画面に映っている、ものですが、これはですね、先ほどご紹介した2つのトークショーに来た方、向けのグッズ配布です。ぜひね、このグッズですね、手に入れていただくために、トークショーにご参加ください。
Okay, these goods are actually going to be given away for free to those who attend all the way to the end of the talk shows that we mentioned earlier.
はい。では、トラビスさん、画面共有を解除してください。
はい。
はい。では最後です。改めまして、本日はですね、お時間取ってご視聴いただいてありがとうございました。ぜひですね、日本で働きたいという、ゲームクリエイター志望の方、サイバーコネクト2に、ご応募いただければと思います。皆様からのご応募を楽しみにお待ちしております。ありがとうございました。
Okay, this concludes our seminar, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We really hope that you share interest in game development and apply to CyberConnect2. We look forward to seeing your portfolios in the coming future. Thank you.
はい。ではありがとうございました。失礼いたします。
ありがとうございました。
Okay. Take it easy, everyone. Thank you.